everyone, this is Patty Sandstrom. Today is Friday, May 29th, and I thought I'd give you an update on the garden. So it's been about 2 weeks since I filmed my last garden tour. You can see we're still getting asparagus. That'll probably keep coming through about the beginning of July, and then we'll just let it go for the rest of the season. So that has been delicious to have for dinner. Moving over this way, this first row here is kohlrabi, which isn't obviously big enough to harvest yet, but that will be coming in probably 3 weeks, I would guess. And then I have 2 rows of beets, which are looking great, some regular red beets, and then some what they call golden beets, which are more of a yellow beet plant. And then I have a row here of what I do is plant radishes and carrots together in the same row because the radishes come up first and they mark the row. So I've been harvesting radishes out of here for at least the last week, which have been wonderful. You can see the carrots are coming through and doing well there as well. And then the onions, I have 3 rows of onions, red, yellow, and white, that are looking great. Those won't be harvested until middle of the summer. I could pick some now if I wanted some just green onions for cooking, but to get full grown, that'll be more like the July-August time frame for those. And then here I have my green beans. I have 2 rows of green beans coming up here, you can see. And that won't take long for those to take off here either. So those are looking good. Probably another month or so, I would guess, till we're picking some green beans. And my squash is all up. This is all planted by seed again. This is zucchini, which I probably have way more than I need. Everybody always plants way more than they need of zucchini, but wanted to make sure I had some that came up, so it's looking good. And then this is a butternut squash, a butter baby. So those just came up here within the last week. And then my spaghetti squash is looking wonderful here. Again, I probably have too many, but we will eat them. Love spaghetti squash. My peas are along the trellis here. These are the shelling peas, kind of on this end. I plant a variety called Lincoln, which always does well. And then at this end is the snap peas. So those just pick right off the vine and eat those fresh. And we'll go around the corner here. This is turnips here at the end. More kohlrabi behind that and beets. I have some onions back here. These are Walla Walla onions that I planted from actual plants that I had. Rhubarb, of course. My marigolds are blooming. And along here I have leeks that I had started from seed back in January in the house and transplanted. Those are looking good. Moving down the line, my peas on the right. Here I threw in a few more pepper plants that I found at the local nursery. Not that I didn't have enough, but thought I'd try a few different varieties that I didn't start from seed. A couple purple cabbage that I found as well. Here's my melons, and these I started from seed in the house as well. I have what they call a Minnesota midget, which is a cantaloupe, and a Kajari melon, which is a new type of melon I'm trying to grow. It's kind of a cross between a honeydew and a cantaloupe. And then on the other side of the trellis there you'll see 3 watermelons. It's called Black Mountain watermelons. So we'll see how those do. And here's all of the tomato plants that are looking great. I've got, I think, about 50 tomato plants with about 10 different varieties planted. And these ones are along this cattle panel, so when they start getting a little bit bigger and fuller, I'll be tying those up to the cattle panel for support. So this is new this year that we put this in. See how that does for us. And then around the corner here is the rest of the tomatoes along this side, and these are all set up with tomato cages. Again, just different varieties here. Looking good. This area was all empty on the last tour, but I have filled this in. A few different eggplants, so that's kind of fun. I started those from seed. And then this whole middle area here is peppers. I have about 6 different varieties, I believe. Standard green peppers, jalapenos, yellow, orange, forgetting a couple, but about 6 different varieties of peppers. And then this middle area here is brassicas. So I have Brussels sprouts, cabbage, broccoli, and cauliflower. And a couple artichokes in there. So that's new for us as well. And you see the sprinkler because it never rains at our house. So I've been having to water a little bit every day just to keep things going here. So that is it for the main garden. So these are the raised beds here by our barn. And if you remember from the last video, if you watched that, you couldn't see anything coming up at that time. But I have some peppers here on the edge. And then what's going to grow up the trellis here is melons on this side. And then these are a climbing pole bean. These are actually called Chinese red noodle beans. And again, these will climb up and over the trellis. So by midsummer, this whole trellis should be full of vines. And kind of the same thing on this side. I have those same beans growing here. A couple different kinds of melons on this side. Now I did have 3 pepper plants here. Only 1 remains because I've had issues with cutworms this year that took out some plants of mine. So I actually planted some radishes, carrots, and turnips, nope, beets in this area right here. So kind of gave up on the plants because the cutworms kept cutting them off. So we'll see what comes up there. And then this is all the greens, which you can see is full. So starting at this end, I have my dill, which I've already been using and making some dill dip, which is awesome. Lots and lots of lettuce, different kinds that we've been harvesting and having lots of salad lately. The spinach, which is awesome, but as you can see, if you look close, it's starting to actually bolt and go to seed, which is what happens with spinach when it gets too hot. And then this next week, with it being in the 80s, it's really gonna go. So spinach is a cool weather green, so I'll have to be harvesting a bunch of this in the next week here. So it won't last long. It doesn't like the heat. Here you see some empty spots because I've harvested a whole bunch of baby bok choy already. There's some that's still growing right here. And I planted some more seeds as well because we actually really liked that. That was something that both of us really liked. And here I've been harvesting a bunch of radishes as well, so you don't see it completely full because we've been eating and harvesting radishes pretty much every day. So the areas that are empty, I've actually reseeded because I just want to keep those going if I can. So we'll see if we get more radishes. Radishes also don't like the heat, so we'll see how those next ones do. And kale, which is actually a new thing for us. I have never grown kale, so I've heard a lot of people make things like kale chips, so we will try that out. Here's a whole bunch of baby kale plants that came up from seed as well. Onions around the edges, green onions over there. I got a free seed pack of some red mustard, which is a green, so I planted some of that. Here's the potatoes. I have red potatoes and a Yukon Gold growing in potato bags in one pot here. And those last time were barely showing through the ground, so they are doing well. And actually tonight I'm going to add more soil to the bags so the potatoes have more room to grow under the dirt. And strawberries. This again is new to us this year, so we planted these from bare roots a couple of weeks ago, and those are looking good. There's a couple that kind of didn't green up for us, but I think between the rest of them we shall have enough strawberry plants in here. And this was some area that I do some herbs, and those are looking good. Cilantro here on the end, you see a couple different sizes because I reseed that every few weeks just to keep that going, because that goes to seed pretty quick. This is my University of Minnesota basil seed trials, so I'm doing testing for the U of M on different varieties of basil to see what grows the best here in Minnesota and tastes the best and all of that. So I report back to the U of M with all of my findings on the different types of basil. And then some parsley here at the end. And then this is where I grow all of the cucumbers that we grow, and you can see there's 4 different types that I have growing in here, and when those start vining, they will vine up their trellises. We'll have lots for slicing and for making pickles. Here's where I have some of our herbs growing, and this is coming in very nicely as well. Chives, which are already flowering. Those come back every year. I have lots of mint here, which makes for wonderful mojitos. Comes back every year as well. 2 different kinds of thyme here, a lemon thyme and just a regular garden thyme. More parsley that came back. It's reseeded itself from last year. And then rosemary. This actually started from seed in the house in January. It's doing good out here. Lots of oregano. And that's a perennial that comes back every year. And then I've got some catnip that I will dry for our cats. Some more parsley over there. Lemon bee balm. And then some sage. And in this middle area here, it looks like weeds, but it's actually flowers that I grew from seed. There's some zinnias and cosmos in there that shouldn't take long to become flowers. So that's that area. More rhubarb over there. And then this is some perennial flowers in here. Some oriental lilies and some other daylilies, a few different Russian sage in the back, and some coreopsis in the front here. Just showing a few other areas around our house. Some irises, which are about to bloom. Those are purplish blue. Hostas, tiger lilies here. Lots of bleeding hearts, which are always pretty. And I do have things that I don't even know what the name of them is. These are perennials that come back every year. Lily of the Valley here. Rose bush, that'll have white roses on it. And my annuals are all covered because they keep getting dug up by squirrels. So until those get rooted, they will be covered. These are alliums here. And I'll just do a quick run over here. Different bushes, hostas, etc. This is in the backyard and the river in the back. And I'll take you around here. More hostas. These are vines that vine up here below our deck. And this is full by the end of the summer with vines. On the side here, this is kind of fun. I planted some grapevines last fall, hoping they'd come back, and they did. So we'll see if we actually get some grapes this summer, fall. So that brings us around to the front of the house. Some more irises here, and some more daylilies around here. More annuals covered in baskets so the squirrels don't get them. This is the front area of our house. It's got all full of different perennials in here. Creeping phlox, some azaleas blooming back there. Johnny jump ups that come back every year. Lots of varieties of different things in here. I'm most excited about this that you can't really see much of, but it's a calla lily that I had planted last year and then dug up the bulb from that and replanted this year, and it's coming back. So it's kind of neat. And we have various different other garden areas in our yard as well with different perennials. So that completes the tour.